I'm so tired from the fair.
Everything about you. Everything about you.
Hello you dirty potters, how are you today? This one's just gonna be an update video for the channel. There's gonna be no artwork, no pottery in this at all, but these are things that I feel like I should tell you guys for the benefit of the channel and your information about the channel. I feel like a lot of people think that whenever I'm putting out videos, I'm constantly working on those videos, and that might be true, but I'm also doing other things behind those scenes. I'm also changing out my glazes all the time, constantly thinking about how I should reform the channel, constantly thinking about my equipment, constantly crafting, constantly doing other things that really help the channel out other than just making video. And these videos are really just a small chance to give you guys the information of what I've been doing behind the scenes. And there's actually a bunch of stuff that's really new and you guys need to know, so let's go over that now. Number one, as you guys can most likely tell, we now have a new camera, so hopefully the quality for the channel has gotten a lot better. And while I did love the camera that we had before, the other camera overheated all the time, the battery was very low, for some strange reason, the write speed on the disc or on the SD card that I put inside of it, they didn't like each other. Like the camera would take in more information than it was possible for it to write on the disc, so it constantly just turned off randomly. And the camera already had problems overheating in the winter after running for like 10 minutes straight, so you know it was already gonna do that even more in the summer. For me, I've never been much of a graphics guy. You know, when I was little, people would always talk about the Xbox versus PlayStation and which one has better graphics, but in all honesty, I would much rather play Super Mario 8-bit than the newest, shiniest, crappy game. So for me, it's always been about good content, but the content's not really changing that much, so I might as well up the quality. Second thing I gotta talk to you about is that we changed the intro, as you most likely saw before this video. Now usually whenever I change something, I let the patrons on Patreon really decide what happens with the channel, but this was something that I thought required a lot more votes and a lot more eyes on it. So what I did is I stayed up for about 2 days and then I made 4 different video intros. And out of those 4, I kept 3 of them and I let everybody on Patreon vote out of those 3. But instead of locking that content behind a wall, what I did is I just told everybody on my Twitter, everybody on my Facebook fan page, everybody on Instagram that it would be open for public to vote on. And I also really wanted an intro that has the new camera footage on it, and I've had this new camera for about 4 episodes now before I actually told you guys I have the new camera. So not only does the intro have different quality now, it has different content. And what I did is I tried to really encapsulate all the things that we do in the channel within that first part of the content. So you have me doing an intro, you have me throwing, you have me explaining something, and you also have a nice little kiln opening. And those are the 4 things that we really do on this channel. We're probably gonna add a 5th thing later, but at the moment, those are the core things. It's really teaching, looking at pretty things, and trying to get other artists out in the world. The third thing is that I'm most likely going to be taking a lot of my glaze recipe videos off of YouTube, and that's not to say they're gonna be gone forever, but that is to say that I really wanna change the format of how they're done. Because what I really wanna do is I wanna get B-mix porcelain and some type of redstone clay to really test the color that we're gonna be making for that episode, or the glaze recipe we're gonna be making, on 3 different bodies. And then what I also want is 4 different glazes that are standard in my keep to test and mix with those glazes, so we can get a full body version of what this glaze could do, what it could be, and what it mixes with. And I'm finding that even though I really like sharing my glaze recipes, and they do get a lot of hits on YouTube because a lot of people just want to grab and go with those, I just feel like I could be doing that content better. So I'll most likely be redoing the episodes I've already done. I won't be losing those glaze recipes, don't worry, you guys can still have them, but I'm just letting you guys know now, in case you want them, there's at least 3 or 4 episodes of what my glaze recipes are in my standard collection before I delete them and remake them, because it's gonna take a couple months to do that. So I don't wanna hear no complaining, I gave you fair warning. The 4th thing I wanna talk to you guys about is that I've started making pottery memes. I don't know why, but you guys seem to really be attaching yourselves to them. You guys are sharing the crap out of them. You guys seem to like them a lot. And the thing that I like about memes is that they always come from a specific culture. You know what I mean? There's gamer memes, there's Californian memes, there's Texas memes, but they always speak to a certain subset or a certain set of people from a certain culture. The thing that I like about memes is that it's simply text and a picture laid over each other that tell you an experience that everyone seems to experience within a certain culture, and I like that a lot. But I noticed there was a specific lack of memes in the pottery and ceramic art community. So I fixed that. I've just been posting them on Instagram and on my Facebook fan page and on my Twitter. The cool thing I like about Pottery Memes is that most people don't get it, but the people that do get it have been through the same experiences and learning curves that I've gone through in my ceramic art life. It's kind of like when you tell a joke and you laugh at your own joke and like only one other person laughs, and you think in your brain, you laugh because you went through the same thing I went through. You're laughing because we're now friends. You get it. You get it and I got it. We get it. I just wanted to tell you guys I make Pottery Memes now, so please hide your attractive daughters. And the last and biggest thing I really wanted to tell you guys was that I have been holding out information on you. I went to the California State Fair because I was invited to do a demonstration of my artwork and sell some of my artwork at the State Fair. I can't not do this.
Yes,
Let's do one more pull. Long story short, what happened is somebody messaged me on my Earth Nation Ceramics fan page. They're a representative of the California State Fair and they were from the craft sector. They asked me, hey, do you want to come over? Do you want to bring your wheel? Really demonstrate what you do and sell your artwork and talk to the public about it while you do it. And I was like, yeah, sure. Can I bring a friend?
Like, I change my behavior to be better at this thing, and the way I get better at this thing is changing my behavior. And you might not change your personality at your core, but you change the way you filter information to people.
And they were like, oh yes, please bring more of you. There's more of you in the world, please bring more of you. And so I brought the very talented Lindsay M. Dillon with me. I know there's a lot of videos with Lindsay in them, but she's a really good friend of mine and she's a really good crafter, and it's really hard to find people like me near me. You know how many potters I can name in the city? 3. I can name 3 potters in this town. It's not like Sacramento's blowing up with pottery, you know? It's not like Sacramento is Jingdezhen, China. It's not like every single corner you turn around there's a potter or there's ceramic art going on. It's hard to find a pimp in these environments. What's really messed up is that the days got switched. I was supposed to be there on Wednesday and Thursday, but instead I was there on Monday and Tuesday. I couldn't exactly get the entire day off for this event, so for today I'm gonna leave Lindsay by herself for a few hours, and then tomorrow I'll be here all day long. But I figured I'd be a little bit nice and wet her clay for her before I go, so that way she just has an easier time doing what she needs to do.
Thank you, Donte.
So on Sunday night, I edited a bunch of video, didn't sleep. Monday I woke up at 7 a.m., got Lindsay, got there by like 8:30, set up all of our stuff by 10. From 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock, we were just throwing. We threw for 3 hours straight together, collecting footage. After that, I went to my job and left Lindsay alone. Came back at 10 to pick her up, went home, went to sleep for a little bit, came back at 10 a.m. and stayed there until 10 p.m. So these were like 12 to 14 hour shifts we were running together. I mean, I'm used to not sleeping and doing work for a long amount of time, but man, that was a harsh road. And these fair people did it right, you know what I mean? They contacted me, they asked me very nicely if I would do something for them. I said yes, they scheduled it months in advance. It was great. I got there, they asked me if I needed extra power, they gave me extra tables, they gave me a very large amount of space, they were very chill with me, they didn't force me to do anything. Because even if I can do it, if you try and like push something on me, I just won't do it out of pure spite. I'm an earthbender, I know what I like, I know what I'm gonna do, and I stick to my guns. Even if it made me an absorbent amount of money, if I didn't like you or like the way you treated me, I will simply just not do it. And as soon as you walked in, that's what you saw. You saw my wheel, you saw Lindsay's work to the right, and you saw my work in the back, and then the left there were benches, and by Lindsay's artwork there were benches. I think we're pretty much set up now. We're really just trying to figure out where we're gonna put our product after we throw, because we took up all the space on the tables, and then we like didn't think about where to put our clay afterwards. And even though you didn't see it, there were constantly a circle of people surrounding us, just very quiet, just watching us do our craft. You know when kids get in fights in high school and junior high and they like start to surround each other just to make sure there's like a wall of protection around the thing they're paying attention to? That's kind of what happened, but with fair people. We didn't keep anything that we threw. We thought it was part of the fun process to really let, especially kids, come up and like cut something in half, because once we cut it in half, then we go, yeah, good job, and then we show them on the inside. Now these are the inside of a potter's walls, and they tell you a lot about the crafter and how much pressure they put on their walls. And that was awesome because number one, they got to really feel what it is to destroy something on that level and then have to restart. It's part of the teaching process. The mentality that loss is okay as long as you try again is a gorgeous process that pottery teaches, and I think that other people really need to experience it. And so we gave that to them in that way. And Lindsay and I reused almost everything that we destroyed. In fact, in between us, we only used about 50 pounds of clay. At first, we tried to set the clay next to us to dry, but then kids would come over and just pick it up because they don't listen to their parents, and of course they want to be dirty because they don't understand how cleanliness works. Thank God for Lindsay too, because I was about 5 seconds away from like, get out of here, you little troglodytes. But Lindsay came up and was like, we should probably just put this underneath the table. And I was like, that's way better than kicking children. That's way, not as satisfying, but way better. And the two questions that we got the most were, do you take apprentices or do you teach classes? And no, Lindsay and I both said no. Plus, I run a YouTube channel where you don't have to pay me. You can just learn for free as long as you have the equipment. What else do you want from me? And they also asked, if we don't teach, then who in Sacramento teaches? And we gave out like 3 different places, but they're still kind of far and few between. And the second and most annoying question I got from people who just thought they were the cat's pajamas is if we've seen the movie Ghost. And it happens so often that each and every time somebody asked us, we would just say a number. So we got up to like 8 people in one day asked us if we've seen the movie Ghost, and we didn't start counting to the middle of the day. So it's probably double that number. Hey, have you guys seen the movie Ghost? Listen here, dad number 47 that I've encountered today with this same exact joke. I'm just gonna stop you right there. You are not the first person who's ever asked a Potter if they've seen the movie Ghost. Now put your originality back in the box where it belongs. Your standards for original content are low, just like your marriage. And it was a really surreal experience because when I first started pottery, I always imagined like, wow, what if I got like so good or so well known that I sat in a room and people just lined up to watch me. And that's kind of what happened, but on a smaller scale. You know those big concerts where a pianist will sit down and the whole auditorium's quiet and everyone's just watching this person do their art and do their craft? That's basically what happened to us, but on a much smaller scale and at the fair. And it was a surreal experience because while most artists think that's kind of a platform to be at, it's kind of a caliber of success, I didn't even tell you guys I was going to the fair until like 2 or 3 days beforehand. Because my barometer and my caliber of success isn't dependent on how much I show out. My caliber and my barometer of success is dependent on me and the values that I set for myself. So it was extremely fun, but I don't think it was like a stepping stone or anything like that. Well, thank you, Dirty Potters, for joining me today. This is probably going to be a Monday video because it's really just an update. It has nothing to do with ceramic artwork or pottery. It's really just to keep you guys informed about the channel. YouTube keeps telling me to tell you guys to click the bell button next to the subscribe button so that every time I post a video, it just sends a message to you saying like, hey, this guy posted a video. But if you're watching videos like this that have nothing to do with ceramic artwork and they're just about the channel, you're probably already invested in the channel to the point where you're looking for the videos on a weekly basis anyway. I'm just telling you to do it now because if my schedule is on the Thursday video around 6 or 7 o'clock p.m. my time, then I put it out on a Monday at like 1 a.m., how are you gonna know? Or if I randomly do a live stream, it'll send you a message and tell you, but otherwise you'll have no idea. Trust me, I'm not trying to get you to watch more. I'm trying to get you guys to send me less messages talking about, you did a live stream and nobody told me. But thank you, Dirty Potters, for joining me today. I think you guys know where to find my artwork. The links are always down below for your beautiful Potter eyes to see. And hopefully we won't have to do another update video for quite some time because I think we've done about 3 this year now, which means I've changed major things in the channel about 3 times this year. So hopefully I won't have to change the formula again for quite some time. So thank you guys for joining me again, and I will see you, Dirty Potters, next week. Well, if you had that bell button clicked, you would have told yourself now, wouldn't you? That didn't make sense, but yes, it does.